We'll find our comfortable seated position. We'll feel our spine grow tall, rest into our shoulders, our hips, picking up the ribs as we inhale. Shoulders, hips relax as we exhale. We take just a moment to lengthen our spine and relax through the body. With the ribs tall, sliding an ear to the shoulder, feeling our shoulder blades relax as we take just a moment to breathe in the side of the neck. And lifting tall, resting over towards the other side, trying to relax the shoulders as we breathe. And as we come to the center, flowing our shoulder blades up and down just a few times. And with our shoulders resting, let's inhale and stretch fingers to the sky, and exhale, relax thumbs to the heart. Inhaling as we lengthen. Exhaling, lower. Let's find one more breath. Inhale, stretching tall. Exhaling, relaxing down. Let's send one arm up to the sky. Reach it over and feel the tailbone and the arm reach in opposite direction. As we come back to the center, we'll send the other arm tall and stretch it over. Back to the center. Inhale, lifting. Exhaling, thumbs down to the heart. Let's find ourselves in all fours, relaxing wrist underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, feeling our tall spine. In our table pose, let's inhale and push the heart forward into cow. Exhaling, pulling the ribs up into cat. Feeling a little flowy movement in our spine as we bring a little relaxation as we breathe. And we're welcome to keep the spine flowing up and down. We can feel that neutral spine again and start folding side to side, shoulders drawing in towards the hips on one side, drawing towards the hips on the other side, just a little rest side to side. As we feel a little bit of neutral spine, ribs coming in, let's circle out our right knee, getting a little bit of movement through that hip. And then maybe trading out that direction of the hip circles. Feeling our heel extending behind us. Ribs growing tall, option to stretch left fingertips forward or left thumb to the sky as we extend opposite leg and feel our balance as we breathe. Let's relax that side down and then maybe stretch out the left heel, toe on the ground or heel from the hip. Right fingertips forward or thumb extending. Feel the ribs lifting as our spine lengthens and breathe in that balance. And then we rest, relaxing into our body's child's pose, feeling a moment to breathe with our arms stretching towards the top of the mat or both arms traveling to one side, stretching through our side ribs. Coming back to the center and then towards the other side, stretching through our side ribs. Returning to center and relaxing through our shoulders, the ribs, and breathe. Staying in our child's pose or reaching up into our downward dog, feeling our tall spine, knees bent or legs straight, maybe flowing one thigh forward, the other thigh back, and finding a little relaxation through our legs as we feel that tall spine and breathe. Our feet travel up towards our hands, relaxing in our body's forward fold, fingertips on the ground, shins or thighs. Finding a place to relax the head and the neck with gravity, enjoying stillness or maybe flowing our head and neck up and down a few times. Maybe relaxing side to side just a few times. Maybe inhaling up and down again. Finding length through our spine, soften in the knees or straight legs as we feel the tailbone and the top of the head pull away from each other. We're going to send the tailbone back. Feel that diagonal length of the spine as the lower belly kicks in to find any variation of chair pose and wiggle out our toes. With our heels grounding, our inhale travels fingertips to the sky, lengthening through our spine, and then maybe one arm reaches a bit taller, the other arm reaches a bit taller, finding that stretch through our side body and breathe. We're welcome to keep the arms flowing, or as we feel a little evenness, both arms reach to the sky. And then you can keep your heels underneath your hips, or it might feel more comfortable to widen out our stance, maybe heels towards the shoulders. And then we're going to inhale, opening the heart, exhaling, reaching the fingertips back inside the legs or outside. Then we'll inhale, lift up, exhale, hinge forward. Now you can keep the knees straight, or you can bend the knees as you stretch the fingers back and pick up the lungs. A little breath of joy, bringing some joy to our heart, our body as we breathe. Do a couple more breaths. Next time we reach back, relaxing the palms onto our thighs, feeling that big openness through our heart as we stretch the lungs forward, feeling the ribs relaxing towards the thighs, hands hanging out on the thighs, fingertips resting to the ground, or maybe with our ribs supported on the thighs, relaxing the elbows from the shoulders and letting the forearms stack. Take a moment to breathe, any variation of this forward fold, feeling good about at the moment. As our fingertips feel the ground, sliding the right knee behind us, relaxing the left heel up underneath the knee, arms on either side or the inside of this front leg, letting our inhale send our heart forward, allowing our exhale to relax our hips back, and we'll feel just a little flowing movement forward and back, resting through our exhales. Keep the movement flowing, or enjoy a place of stillness with that front leg lengthened towards straight. Our spine can stay tall, or maybe the heart relaxes towards the legs and we feel a few resting breaths. Sending our inhale, hips and heart forward, and releasing into our body's child's pose. Finding a moment to relax in stillness. Maybe we're inhaling, feeling that plank or kneeling plank, continuing with a tall spine, or exhaling elbows in towards our ribs. Inhaling, expanding a cobra, pulling that lower belly in as we relax into child's pose, feeling our body rest through just a couple of breaths. Anytime we're ready, letting our inhale send our right heel up into our lunge. And again, arms on either side or the inside of the front leg, whichever feels more stable. Feeling our inhale, draw our hips and heart forward. Feeling our exhale, relaxing our hips and thighs back, and maybe flowing through our breath, creating any range of motion, any pace of movement here as we breathe, resting with our exhales. We're welcome to keep the movement flowing or enjoy a place of stillness, finding rest through our breath. With our inhale, sending our hips and heart forward, we can guide our back toes towards the front toes, any variation of forward fold, fingertips on the floor, shin or thighs. Feeling that lift up just halfway. Grounding into our heels, feel the lift of the heart, stretching up towards the sky, and then find a little twisting, sliding one arm forward, the other arm back. Returning to neutral, and then towards the other side, finding any range of motion, any pace of movement as we find lift and release as we breathe. Maybe one more each side. Anytime we find a little bit of evenness, meeting in neutral with our heart expanding towards the ceiling, exhaling as we swan dive down. Sliding those left toes behind us, finding our lunge of choice, back knee lifted or lowered. Option to turn the body towards the front thighs and open the chest towards the sky. And then resting. Back to child's pose or downward dog. Enjoying just a moment to breathe. Relaxing in stillness, maybe choosing to inhale through plank or kneeling plank. We can stay. Finding strength, or maybe exhaling, elbows towards the ribs, inhaling, lungs opening, exhaling, hips resting. Feeling just a moment to breathe, relaxing with our breath. Sending those left toes up into our lunge, feeling the heel rest under the knee, and then as we're ready, twisting towards the front thigh and breathe. As we're ready, releasing down, and then back to child's pose or downward dog, and feel just a moment to rest. And as we're ready, letting our inhale pull the body forward into plank or kneeling plank. Find this right knee, create a kickstand. Right knee under the hip, right toes to the side of the mat. Inhaling, left fingertips to the sky as we stack left shoulders, ribs, and hips. We can enjoy stillness here as we inhale. Feel your ribs and the arm reaching up and back. And then as we exhale, feel the arm and ribs folding in, hand reaching under the ribs. Then we'll inhale, lift the lungs. Exhale, fold it in. Creating any range of motion, allowing our body's breath to guide our body's movements. Finding that reach and release as we breathe. And the next time we send our arm up to the sky, we can enjoy stillness here, or thinking about this straight leg lifting up and down, feeling outer hip pulling up, inner thigh pressing in. Feel a few stretching breaths here. And then if it feels okay, we're going to allow the straight leg to reach to the side of the mat and feel the ribs and the chest stretch up towards the ceiling, a little bit deeper openness in our front side body. And then we're folding our bodies into child's pose, knees together or wide. Feeling a moment of stillness and relaxation. Maybe we're inhaling, finding our plank or kneeling plank to find length, to stay, or exhaling, elbows in, inhaling, lungs lift, and exhaling, hips rest. Feeling just a moment to breathe, relaxing through our breath. As we're ready, inhaling our bodies to our plank or kneeling plank of choice. Maybe this left knee rests under the hip, making the kickstand with the left toe to the side of the mat. And then our right fingertips stretch up to the sky, stacking shoulders, ribs, and hips, finding length as we breathe. With our inhale, pulling heart, ribs to the sky. With our exhale, hand reaches under the rib cage, and we can flow with our breath. Inhaling as we open, exhaling as we fold, stretching and releasing as we breathe. A few stretchy breaths. The next time we stretch our arm to the sky, feeling maybe that leg move, outer hip lifting, inner thigh lowering. Feeling any movement pattern that works today as we breathe. And then maybe taking the straight leg out to the side of the mat, an option to pull the ribs and the chest further up towards the sky. And then feel a moment of relaxation as we rest in our body's child's pose. Ribs, hips, shoulders, feeling a moment to relax in stillness. Option to flow into our plank or kneeling plank to stay, or exhaling elbows towards the ribs. Inhaling, lungs lifting. Exhaling, hips relaxing. Feeling those few restful breaths. If our bodies are feeling like a three-legged dog, from downward dog, we'll have the option to stretch the right toes up to the sky. And then anytime we're ready, we can all help the right foot find its way forward into our lunge. As we open to Warrior Two, grounding the back heel sideways and drawing our arms towards our legs as the shoulders stack over our hips, and breathe. Feeling stability as the inner heels and our thighs engage, shoulders, hips relax as our shoulders rest. We'll open the palms. then start to stretch one arm over our head, coming back to neutral, stretching the other arm over our head, returning to neutral and feeling that reach side to side. Take a moment to breathe. Maybe one more each direction. And as we feel a little evenness, keeping the elbows relaxed, we can twist ribs towards one leg, ribs towards the other leg. Any range of motion, any pace of movement, however we're feeling pretty stable today. Breathe. And as we find that release, stretching our arms out, picking up the lower belly, let's send the front arm towards the back leg. Feel the front thigh drawing forward, and both arms can stay reaching back, or the bottom hand can relax to the thigh, the hip, or fold the forearm to the lower back, and feel that reach through our side body as we breathe. And then we'll end up sliding the front elbow towards the front thigh, and feel that top shoulder pulling back as we take our gaze and our heart towards the sky, continuing to relax, creating any variation of side angle. So maybe we stay here, maybe we extend out both arms. Option to feel that stretch through our spine as we breathe. And as we return our arms to the inside of that front leg, finding our lunge. That knee can be up or down, maybe twisting towards the front thigh. And then releasing to child's pose or downward dog, hanging out for just a moment. Maybe we slide forward, finding plank or kneeling plank for a moment, and strength building, or we can exhale elbows in, inhale the heart open, and exhale the hips back, letting our bodies find just a few resting breaths. If we're feeling like that three-legged dog, maybe traveling, left toes up to the sky and helping that left foot find its way into our lunge. Opening into our warrior two, the back heel grounding sideways, and our chest stacking over our hips, arms traveling towards our feet. And then feeling that relaxation through our shoulders, keeping the inner thighs, heels engaged, will start to flow. One arm over the head, and the other arm over the head, finding that stretch side to side, creating that reach through our breath. So we feel a little evenness in our movements, keeping our arms rest, our shoulders stacked. Let's rotate ribs towards one leg, ribs towards the other leg, creating any movement pattern here that feels the best today as we breathe, rest through our breath. And as we feel our bodies stretch to the side, we're going to take the front arm and reach it towards the back leg. Both arms can stretch back. The bottom hand can rest. Thigh, hip, or fold at the lower back as that front knee and thigh keep traveling forward, and the top arm keeps reaching back, feeling that oppositional reach as we feel this peaceful warrior as we breathe. And then allowing this front elbow to rest on the thigh, picking up the lungs as we guide the shoulder and the gaze towards the sky, expanding the heart through the breath. Continuing this variation of side angle, or you can extend into any variation, maybe lengthening out the arms and feeling that length and openness through our body as we breathe. Anytime we're ready, fingertips find the inside of that front leg, returning to our lunge of choice, and maybe twisting towards the front thigh. And then we're resting. Maybe child's pose, maybe downward dog, enjoying a place of relaxation. Maybe we're hanging out, maybe we're flowing through plank, our kneeling plank, to hang out. Maybe we flow elbows towards the ribs. Inhale and lift the lungs open. Exhale, the hips back. Taking a moment to breathe. Then we'll send our feet up towards our hands, finding rest in our body's version of forward fold. Then we'll inhale, lift up just halfway. Ground our heels, and then inhale, lift up all the way. Relax here. Does it help when you choke on your own spit? Flow side to side. Talking too fast, so both sides let me. Alrighty. So we're going to find a place to relax, planting through one foot. The other thigh can be forward or open. Squeeze it in and up. Ground our palms. Find our focal point. Continuing this variation of tree. As we feel grounded in our standing leg, we can float the bent knee toe or rest it inside the leg. Anywhere we're feeling stable. Arms can relax by our side, out to our shoulders, or towards the ceiling. Creating strength and reach. Any variation of tree. Relaxing through our breath. Relaxation here, releasing our joints, trading our legs. The other foot feels grounded. Thigh engaged, knee joint softens. The other thigh forward or maybe open. Creating inner thigh engagement, lower belly engagement. Feel the grounding. Our palms as we find our focal point. Toes staying on the ground or floating. Maybe foot feels our calf, or maybe we help it into our inner thigh. Palms staying at the heart or resting or reaching out or towards the ceiling, anywhere we're finding our stable, strong tree today. Breathe. Rest anytime we're ready. Relaxing our joints. We'll feel our feet stretch wide, our arms stretch wide, finding this 5-point star. We can let one foot take on more weight. Maybe just lift the heel, or having the option to float the toe or extend through the heels. We balance our star, finding that length and openness through our breath. Return to that 5-point star, and then just take a moment to sway the shoulders, just giving them a little resting breath. And we'll extend out again, shoulders resting, allowing the other foot to take on more weight, maybe lifting the heel or or floating the toe or pressing through the heel and feeling that length through the leg, the back of the head as we balance our star and breathe. Our star swaying again. You can keep just the shoulders, the ribs moving, or you can start lifting up the heel as we flow side to side. Find as much reach as we feel good about at the moment. And anytime we're ready, we'll draw the feet up to the front of our mat, grounding our heels. Let's lift the heart to the sky. Swan diving down. Let's send the right toes back behind us and relax the back knee. Letting our hands come inside the front leg and wiggle the foot wide. Feeling the hip, knee, and toes find that angle, and the palms relax underneath the shoulders. And then we'll feel just a little flowy movement, heart stretching forward, hips relaxing back, finding just a little stretch through our breath. As our hips come forward, we can continue here. You can move this into a pigeon if you'd like by heel-toeing the foot across towards the opposite arm, relaxing the shin and the knee and staying where we've landed. We can slide the tailbone closer to the ground. We can lift the ribs further up to the sky and feel this big lift through the chest. Staying lifted, or maybe finding a more of a diagonal or folding heart towards the ground. Any variation of pigeon, or you can hang out in that lizard option and feel a few resting exhales, creating release and rest and peace through each breath. Inhale, sending our ribs up tall. We're going to have the option to sink onto this front thigh and hip and bend the back knee so that maybe our legs resemble a variation of a Z. And we're going to feel maybe a little bit of movement through our spine. So we can stay tall and lifted. We can turn more towards this front thigh and feel maybe a little bit more different stretch through our back thigh and hip. We can create as much twisting movement here through our spine as we feel stable with at the moment. And as we come to the center, maybe turning towards the back leg and feeling just as much reach as our body feels like at the moment. Send our ribs back into a neutral stance, rolling towards that front thigh so the back sole of the foot can feel the front sole of the foot, finding our body's variation of a butterfly. Staying tall and lifted, or option to rock our hips side to side, or sliding the body into a circling movement, rolling through the ribs towards the thighs in one direction, or anytime we're ready, we can trade the direction. With our inhale, we can lift the heart to the sky to stay. Maybe we exhale to the diagonal. Maybe our heart rests towards our feet, feeling gravitational relaxation through our breath. With our spine tall, our knees joined together, traveling the knees to one side, returning to an all fours option with our wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Feel a few cat and cows with our inhales pulling the heart forward and the exhales folding the ribs in. And we feel a little stretch through our spine as we breathe. And with our spine in neutral, sliding the right foot forward into our lunge, sending our hands inside the front leg and then feeling that heel toeing movement wide so that we feel maybe more of a diagonal hip, knee, and toes. Palms resting on the shoulders, and then feel a little flowing movement with our hips and ribs stretching forward, our hips and thighs relaxing back, creating any flowing movement our bodies are feeling our best option with today, relaxing into our breath. Next time our hips and ribs stretch forward, we can stay this lizard lunge, or you can feel this wide leg, heel toe all the way towards the opposite wrist, letting the shin relax where we feel a good place to release. Staying here or tucking into that back toe, traveling the tailbone closer to the ground. Maybe even walking our hands in and pulling the heart to the sky. We can stay open and lifted. We can rest to the diagonal or fold the heart towards the ground and create any releasing breath to find rest and peace through each exhale, allowing our bodies to rest through each breath. Wherever our bodies allow that release today, just checking in with our bodies and feeling release through our exhales. Feeling that next inhale, reaching our rib cage back up towards the sky, taking the weight onto the front thigh, maybe bending that back knee, creating some variation of a Z shape with our legs. With our spine tall, maybe we send our ribs further towards the front thigh, create a little bit deeper, different stretch in that back thigh and hip as we breathe. And we're welcome to stay here or twist towards that back leg, feeling that reach through our side body wherever we're feeling our best release at the moment. And as we feel our ribs finding more of a neutral position, sliding the soles of the feet towards each other into our bodies. Butterfly, maybe feet are wider, maybe feet are closer to the body. Feeling length in the spine, returning to those circling movements, ribs traveling towards one thigh. You can create as much movement in the body or as little movement as you feel good about today. We're welcome to trade the direction at any time, finding rest through our breath. And then anytime we feel a little evenness, heart can stay lifted up towards the sky. Heart can reach in towards a diagonal, or heart can rest towards the toes, allowing our bodies to find a place of rest and peace as we breathe. Each exhale, relaxing any place we feel like are holding on to any extra sensations in our bodies, allowing stillness and peace through each breath. Allowing that next inhale to send our spine tall. Our knees draw in towards each other. Our feet travel towards the front of our mats, finding some space to rest behind us. Creating inner thigh engagement, lower belly engagement. We can hold on or extend out as we create release through our spine, shoulders resting. Maybe arms are resting by the side or lengthening over the head. Legs can extend out towards the foot of the mat. Maybe even taking a moment to think about our fingers and our toes, reaching in opposite directions. And then we can bend the elbows and rest our shoulders, our ribs, our hips. Allowing peace through our body as we breathe, creating rest through each exhale. Just a moment to relax into our breath. And then our bodies, of course, have the option to continue here as long as that feels like a good release today. As we're ready for bridge pose, we can begin to slide the heels in towards the knees, travel the fingertips towards the hips, and wiggle our shoulder blades a little closer towards each other. Continuing the grounding of our spine on the floor, or plant through the feet and the forearms, and feel the thighs lift the heart towards the sky, and create any variation of our bridge pose we're feeling stable with today. Feeling that expansion with our inhale, the strength through our exhale, allowing rest and peace through each breath. Feeling the spine rest down into the ground. Option to hug both thighs into the chest, enjoying stillness or rocking just a bit side to side, releasing through our tailbone, relaxing through our lower back, releasing through the ribs, the shoulders, just noticing the spine, finding a moment of stillness as we breathe. And with our tailbone relaxing into the ground, having the option to open into a happy baby, traveling knees towards the shoulders, soles of the feet towards the sky, and hands hanging on to the thighs or stretching up towards the calves or stretching up towards our feet, and feeling rest and stillness. Maybe we feel a little opening or rocking side to side, resting the spine wherever we're feeling our best stretch at the moment. Allowing our spine to find stillness as our soles of the feet return towards each other. Hanging out here, or feeling the heels sinking in towards the hips as the thighs reach away from the body, and our shoulders, ribs, hips continue to feel stillness and rest on the ground. Feeling a moment to relax into this variation of our butterfly and find peace and release through our breath. Sending our knees back towards each other, resting the spine on the ground. We're stretching our heels up towards the sky. Option to hold on to our thighs, or maybe even walking our hands up towards our calves, or reaching towards our toes and finding that stretch through the back of our legs as we feel peace through the lower back, the ribs, the shoulders, and breathe a moment of rest and peace through our exhales. We can stay heels reaching up to the sky. We can start to slowly widen the legs a couple of inches at a time. Lower belly kicking in, pinky toes reaching out a couple of inches, stabilizing. Feeling the thighs and the hips engaged, open, and create stillness. Hands can stay on the feet, calf, or thighs, wherever we feel the most stable as we relax into this reclined straddle of our body's choice. Noticing stillness and peace through the body as we breathe, relaxing through our exhales. start to slowly engage the inner thighs, moving maybe just a couple of inches at a time as we draw the big toes back towards each other. Maybe activating a little different muscle groove than we're used to as we find strength in our legs to keep our body supported. As our arms relax by our side, our knees bend, and our soles of the feet feel the ground as our spine relaxes. Taking a moment to notice the tailbone, the ribs, the hips, shoulders all relaxing in to the earth as we breathe. With our heels pushing into the ground, our forearms reaching out to the side and pushing into the ground, we're lifting up the tailbone, sliding the hips over to the right, relaxing the knees to the left, gazing away from our knees as we find a spinal twist of our body's choice. If we found too many extra sensations in this top thigh and hip, we can lift the top knee further up towards the sky. Or if we need more sensation, we can use the hand to slide the thighs closer towards the ground and create that openness through our shoulders, our ribs, our hips. So we find that release through our spine with each breath. Noticing peace through each exhale, moving through the body, through each breath. Into our neutral position, resting through the tailbone, the ribs, lower back into the ground. As we're ready, pushing into the heels, ground through the forearms, and then slide the hips over to the left, relaxing the knees towards the right, finding this variation of spinal twist that feels best today. If we've landed knees further to the floor than we like, lift that top knee up to the sky. Or use the hands to pull them deeper towards the ground, gazing away from our bent knees to allow that release through our spine. Finding rest and peace through each breath. Noticing relaxation through each exhale. Feel our bodies find peace and rest as we breathe. Welcome to continue here as long as that's feeling like a good stretch. You can use the body to help relax back into that neutral spine. Maybe traveling our feet to the sides of the mat, resting our shoulders, our ribs, and flowing thighs side to side with gravity, creating little windshield wipering movements as we find that relaxation through the lower back, relaxing through our tailbone, feeling rest and peace as we flow side to side and breathe, feeling peace through our breath. And we're welcome to keep the movement flowing side to side. If our bodies are craving an extra stretch that we haven't been cued into today, we're welcome to move to any other option that feels the best. We're welcome to keep our feet wide and rest our knees together, tailbone, lower back, relaxing into the ground in our constructive rest posture. Hanging out here, or maybe we feel a more passive hip relaxation by sliding the soles of the feet together, creating our body's variation of a reclined butterfly. Or maybe we feel more like a traditional relaxation posture with our feet open, our palms open, and our spine finding peace on the ground. Wherever we found to relax today, let's find our deep, long breath, traveling from our nose to face the belly. Our deep long breath relaxing out of the belly, back out of our nose. And as we breathe, we're welcome to just focus on the lungs expanding and relaxing. We're welcome to breathe in a moment of thankfulness and gratitude, maybe something that we associate with the Christmas season. Maybe breathe in thankfulness for Jesus coming to the earth. Maybe thankfulness for time to be able to spend with people we love. Maybe thankfulness that we have extra joy to find in small things in life. So anything that we feel drawn to be thankful for today, as we allow our hearts and minds to fill with joy and peace, find rest and relaxation through each breath, noticing that tenderness and release through each exhale, noticing peace through each breath, and relaxing the body, finding peace and relaxation, feeling rest and release as we breathe, noticing our bodies, feeling the comfort and rest that our breath draws in with each inhale, and the peace and relaxation our bodies find as we let anything that isn't fulfilling in our bodies today to relax out through each exhale, and we notice our bodies having joy and rest through our breath. Allowing our bodies to continue in our relaxation. Maybe beginning to travel the breath through our fingers and our toes, feeling relaxation through our hands and our feet, finding peace and rest through our wrists and our ankles, releasing through our lower legs, our lower arms, finding rest in our knees, our elbows, releasing through our thighs, our hips, relaxing the upper arms, the shoulders, guiding the breath into our spine as we feel peace through our tailbone, lower back, the ribs, the shoulders, enjoying stillness, or maybe finding a little bit of movement in our spine as we relax side to side from our tailbone, lower back, the ribs, the shoulders, maybe the neck and the head. We can stay with our body as we are, maybe adding a few breaths with our inhales, pulling the thighs away from the body, the exhale, drawing the thighs in towards the body, and we feel a moment of rest and relaxation through our breath. Staying on our spines or resting over onto our sides just for a moment as our head relaxes into our hands or upper arms. We feel just a moment of rest and peace as we breathe in some calming, peaceful breaths through one side and push out anything we just don't need today through the other side into the ground. Take just a moment to let our bodies find a moment of peace through each breath. Letting that next inhale guide our bodies into any comfortable seated option. We're resting our tailbone, guiding our spine tall. Shoulders rest. Let's slide a chin to our shoulder, gazing behind us, feeling neutral. Chin towards the other shoulder, gazing behind us. Finding neutral, ear to a shoulder, side of the neck stretching open. Back to neutral, and then over towards the other side. control. We'll rest our shoulders. Let our inhale travel chin and thumbs up to the sky. Our exhale, rest